difference being it's a language class, and you don't want to miss that. You know, the Friday class is a language class, which is called the Lashawan Kodash, the holy tongue, the native tongue of every black man, every Hispanic man, and every native Indian man. And all them classes from Tuesday through till Friday for this month and till the end of November will be at 11. Reason being is the clocks in the UK have gone 1 hour back. So, you know what I mean? Again, on the Monday, Black Watch will be at 1 a.m. because the clocks will have gone 1 hour back also as well. Then also through the winter, we have lectures. So November the 28th, right here, 394 Lodge Road. Got yes, water. The postcode B18 5PW. Second. Yeah. So the 28th of November, there's going to be a lecture here. The same place, 394 Lodge Road, postcode B18 5PW. That will be starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The first lecture will be, you know, going into the religion of Islam, right, showing you that the Quran is tampered with. Right. The Quran ain't this perfect book and revelations from Muhammad. You know, that's all a lie. And, you know, if you want to find it out with facts and with evidence, then there's one place you got to be on November the 28th, man. You know what I mean? Address 394 Lodge Road, postcode B19 5PW. So B18 5PW. Then the next month. So the next month we have Officer Karafia doing a lecture. I'll get the date on that. But again, same address, 394 Lodge Road, postcode B18 5PW. Let me get that. That will be on the 28th of December. And Slakia, mine is the 30th of November. 30th of November, 394 Lodge Road, same address as always. Then December the 28th, Officer Karafi has a lecture on Great Britain is only great for the slave masters. You know what I mean? That's another powerful lecture. You know what I mean? You as a black man, you as a Hispanic man, native Indian man, you think England's for you. That lecture is going to show you England was never for you. England ain't the place for black people. And we've been lied to for nearly 400 years. England ain't the promised land for black people. All of the people that we look up to in England do not care about black people. And I've seen some of it, and it's going to blow your mind, man. All the people that you're forced to look up to in England, you're going to understand all of them were racist. All of them did not like black people. And all of them, it's documented, they all had racial remarks in their history while they was alive or while they was dead, man. So, you know, that's another powerful lecture by Officer Karafia. Then we got Officer Domgabar, you know what I mean, the historian of the UPK, man. The guy's all got the books on the Windrush, the slave ships, you know what I mean? Always full of books, man. So, you know, we're going to get his lecture too. His is European Supremacy Has Destroyed Black People, Part 2. You know what I mean? If you never watched Part 1, it was excellent, man. You know what I mean? It's on the I.S.U.P.K United Kingdom page. Thawadi, yeah, please. Also, I got a text for you as well. Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? So his is, let me get the date on that before I hand the phone over. His is the 25th of January. Yeah, so Officer Dongabar's is the 25th of January. This is the second part. If you watch part 1, that would blow your mind, man. If you saw the facts that he had in that lecture, you definitely would want to watch part 2, man. So we recommend all these lectures. Then also in February, not got an official date yet, Officer Shamgar and Officer Agawa, they're going to have a lecture too as well. So, you know, we'll definitely, of course, ahead of time, be announcing that. 2 as well. So before we get into the classes, before we get into the topic of the class, has anyone got anything, you know what I mean, any questions that need breaking down? This is the class where we answer them, the Bible, history, wherever it goes. So today we're going to get into the Sabbath day. Reason being is, I get a lot of phone calls. I get a lot of text messages about the Sabbath. Anytime people contact the school, what's the first thing they always say? I'm keeping the Sabbath holy. I got my TV turned off. I'm not doing this and that. And every time I got to break it down to them, that's not the Sabbath day. That's got nothing to do with the Sabbath day. And what does it mean to truly keep the Sabbath day holy? We're going to get into that also as well. You know what I mean? So we're going to get into that. So, of course, where would you start? It being a scripture breakdown class. Online, there's officers. Online, there's people that in the future, you will have to break this down. So a question for you, to break down the Sabbath day, where would you start? What would be the first scripture where you would take someone? That's right. You would go to the first, well, not the first, but the most noticeable verse in the Bible that goes into the Sabbath day. So you want to take someone there first. You don't want to, go all over the place with them. You want to take it to where it came out of the Lord's mouth. For those of you that don't know, the so-called 10 Commandments, the reason why they're more so-called recognized is because those 10 came directly from the mouth of the Most High. So you want to read that from Exodus 20.
Exodus 20 and 1. And the Most High spake all these words, saying.
So make no mistake now, these are the words of the Most High. Not the words of the I.S.U.P.K, not the words of Officer Parasha. The Lord spoke these words. And if you read in Exodus 19, the Israelites were scared, man. They heard his voice. The mountains were shaking. To my left. To up? The water too. So now, when you read in Exodus 19, the Israelites were petrified. They heard the voice of the Lord. They saw the mountains shaking, the horns blowing. And then you hear this man saying, I'm the Lord, and he's going to give us his commandments. Read on.
I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt.
So before any commandments, he made us know. He made blacks, Hispanics, and native Indians know that, listen, I'm the Lord your God. I brought you out of Egypt, not Horus, not Seth, not no other idol, but the living God. He brought you out of the land of Egypt. Read on.
Out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Meaning, in the context, what's it saying? I brought you out of Egypt. Therefore, you can't serve no other God. No other God saved you. No other God redeemed you. I did it. And that's why you can't serve no other God. No other God loves you. And how did the Lord show his love? By saving us out of Egypt. By saving us out of a land where we were slaves, where we were nobodies, we was oppressed, making for them great towns, man. Making for them everything that is in Egypt right now, man. Read on.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
So don't make unto you any graven image. Now, the context of this is you worshiping it, and the next verse is going to explain. Read on.
Of any likeness, of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
What did the Bible say?
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
So the Bible says, don't bow down thyself unto them. So that's what the context of graven images is on about. Because, some people say no images. We're doing camp. We have the black depiction of Jesus Christ. What does everyone say? That's idolatry. You got images, and that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about images that you worship. And how do you know? All throughout the Bible, Israelites had images. When we was in the wilderness, what was our ensigns? What was our flags? They had what? The wolf for Benjamin. What's them Issachar's one? The ox, the ass.
Issachar's the ass.
Ass. So then that'll be a contradiction. You know what I mean? God saying don't make no images. Then He's commanding them in the wilderness for every tribe have a flag with their ensign, man. So the Bible don't contradict itself. The problem is people don't understand the Bible.
Right.
People don't understand something called context, meaning what is the verse saying and why is the reason for why it's saying that. Read on.
Nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous power.
So God's jealous, man. And why is that hard to believe? Look at life. A man with his wife, he's jealous, man. Let another man make his wife laugh.
What?
He is jealous, man. You know what I mean? Even if your wife don't want the man, the fact that he made her laugh, he made her happy, how does the husband feel? He's jealous. Like, you know what? You can't talk with that man anymore, You know what? I want you to delete his phone number. You know what? I'm going to find you another job. You know what I mean? Why? Because you're jealous. And likewise, the Lord is jealous when we serve another God. The Lord is jealous when we're in a mosque. The Lord is jealous when you're in a church, man. The Lord's jealous when you're talking about Rastafari, man. And guess what? The same way a man's jealous, the Lord is jealous the same way, man. Everyone talking about God seems to have emotions. Well, who said God did not have any emotions? Who taught you that? Who said God can't change his mind? You know what I mean? Again, in the lecture, I'm not going to get into it now. You know what I mean? We're going to address those things too, man. People act like, God can't change his mind. God can't have mercy. God doesn't have emotions. Who taught you that God didn't have none of those things? You got something?
So what's the admission fee
£5.
again?
So yeah, it's a £5 admission fee at the door. You know what I mean? And that's least believing. We got food, drink, all of that good stuff. So you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a £5 admission fee also as well. So yeah, Slovakia got something. No sweat. So so who teaches you God never had any of those things, man? Read on.
Nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the father upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Imagine that. For the sins that you do, he would visit your descendants, man, your kids, for what you did. Why? Because God doesn't let anything slide. If he doesn't get you in this life, he'll get you in the next life, man. Or your kids, he'll take it out on them, man.
Right.
So that's why you need to be mindful of what you do. Don't ever sin and think, well, I did what I did, and that's it. Give me Lamentations 5 and 8 or 7 about our fathers have sinned and are not. Don't think, you've escaped God. You don't escape him. He'll get you in this life, your next life, or your kids, man, or your descendants. 8 or 7. But our fathers have sinned and are not.
Lamentations 5 and 7. Our fathers have sinned and are not.
So what does that mean? Our fathers have sinned and are not, meaning they're dead. They're not around no more. When you're in the grave, you're not around no more. So he's saying, listen, our fathers, they've sinned and they are not, meaning they are dead. They sinned. They worshipped other gods. They oppressed their workers. They did everything that God said you should not do and are not. Read on.
And we have borne their iniquities.
And we have borne their iniquities. And that born don't mean to give birth. It means to carry. It's not spelled born in the same way. It's born spelled B-O-R-N-E. That's right. And that born means to carry. So it says, our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. What is iniquity? Sin, transgression, when you violate the laws of God. And we have carried it, meaning they sinned, and God is taking out on you, man. God is punishing you for what your forefathers did. And that's what Exodus 20 is getting into. Let's get back to Exodus.
Okay. Exodus 20, I believe it was a Bible. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Read on.
And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me.
That do what?
That love me.
That love me. So when you read 1 John 5 about this is love, that we keep the commandments of God, always keep this in mind. When you read Mark, Matthew, Luke, John, Romans, Thessalonians, nothing's new. The law, how we live, those things were already established. So when you read, this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, he didn't make nothing new. John didn't make it up off the top of his head, man. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that when we read on. Read on.
And keep my commandments.
And then those that love God do what?
Keep my commandments.
There you have it. So, to love God and to keep his commandments is nothing new. Israelites knew this. So when John is writing this in 1 John 5 and 3 and 2 John 1 and 6, it wasn't nothing that just came off the top of his head, man. Israelites always knew for you to love God, it was an action. And to love him was to keep his commandments, keep his rules, keep his ordinances, keep his statutes. And we always knew that. But read on.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
I know, sweat. To get to the specific law on the Sabbath day.
Verse 8, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy.
So now remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. So now, what does the word holy even mean? Would anyone online like to give it a shot? What does the word holy even mean, man? Growing up in the church, you heard that word all the time. Holy than thou. I'm holy. I'm holy. But what does it really mean? Because in the church, they don't know. Your pastor, he don't know. Your deaconess, she don't know. Your deacon, he don't know. Your bishop, he don't know. Your elder, he don't know. So what does holy really mean, man?
6.9, that's to be separate.
That's right. Let's give her a hand. That's what holy in its essence means. It means separate. So with the Sabbath day, keep it holy, meaning the Sabbath day, keep it separate. So how would you keep this day separate from 6 of the other days? Let's read on.
6 days, thou shalt labor.
Thou shalt do what?
Labor.
And what does labor mean? Let's look it up in a dictionary. What does labor mean? Because it's saying it right here. This ain't an interpretation right here. Labor, there's a meaning of this word. And let's look at what the word labor means. Read it.
Labor, work, especially physical work.
What did the Bible say? So no. What did the dictionary say?
Work, especially physical work.
Physical work. So this is talking about physical work, but then it's got its similarities. Let's find out.
Work hard, make great effort, have difficulty in doing something despite working hard. Despite working hard. One of them are in employment, I believe. They're the work, toll, employment. On the first one. Go on. Work, toil, employment.
What?
Employment.
Employment. So 6 days, you do your employment, you do your physical work. That's what labor means, meaning that word, it goes into employment. So when people go, 6 days shall thou work. Again, not being in the truth, not being in the UPK, you will naturally do what everyone does. I can't watch TV. I can't watch the UFC. I can't watch Bellator. I can't watch, bare knuckle boxing. I can't watch things that you like. You know what I mean? What's some other things? I can't watch Love and Hip Hop. I can't watch what you know what I mean? I don't watch these, by the way, but I can't watch Atlanta Housewives. I can't watch that show with Ghost, The Power. That's not what this is talking about, man. And it's saying it right there. 6 days shalt thou work and do all thy labors. And look at what labor means, man. I believe even in the Hebrew, it's even more direct. You know what I mean? But we just, for time's sake, just going in a dictionary for you. Labor is talking about your employment. Labor is talking about your occupation. So how do you keep the Sabbath day holy from 6 of the other days? Don't do your laborious work on this day. Don't do your employment on this day. And it's saying it right there, man. In the law, out of the mouth of God, which is what Exodus 20 is all about, man. Those 10 commandments came from the mouth of God, and God said this.
Right.
Read on.
Come. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
So now the seventh day is the Sabbath. What does the word Sabbath even mean? Rest. Shabbat. It means rest. So on this day, you rest. You don't do your occupation. You don't do your job. If you're a bricklayer, you got 6 days to lay all them bricks, make all that money. If you are a carpenter, you got 6 days to, hammer all that wood down, man. Do all those floorboards, do all the floor joists, do all the, do whatever you do, carpentry wise. If you're a chef, you got 6 days to be in that place working yourself to death, making beans on toast in the morning, making whatever you make in the afternoon. You got 6 days to do that. But the seventh day is the day of rest, meaning you don't do it. Read on.
Come. In it thou shalt not do any work.
And on the seventh day, on the Sabbath day, you don't do any work. That's as easy as I can do it, man. I can't do it any more than that. Like, it's saying while it's saying. So where do people get, you can't put on light switches, you can't watch TV, you gotta rest? That's not work. And always keep this in mind with the Bible. The Bible is not a book of debates. The laws are black and white, what you can do and what you can't do. So if we don't know what work is, then we have a problem. We have an issue. Why? Because some people, work may mean different things. To some people, making beans, eggs, toast, that's work. They'll be like, nah, God wouldn't like that. And to someone else, that wouldn't be work. Like, come on, I'm turning on the oven, man. Come on. I'm making beans on a wok. Like, what work is that? And then what's the problem? Philosophy jumps in. Interpretation jumps in. So then what would work mean? But when you look up definitions, now you know what work means. Now you know what labor means. And there, we don't have an opinion. We don't have an interpretation. We know what the Lord is talking about. Read on.
Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy maidservant, nor thy manservant, nor thy cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gate.
And now it's saying it right there, your son, your daughter. Why? Because they're going to be working for you, man. You got land. Who's going to work in it? Your family. Who's going to plant the seeds in the ground? Your family. Like, even today, if you go to like Korea, you look at like how they live on the farms. Who does the work? The family. The wife is what? Planting the seeds. The sons are gathering up the hay. The daughters planting the seeds. Why? Because that's work, man. So it's saying it right there. Your manservant, you may pay people to work on your farm, pay people to make fires, pay people to, help your oxes plow and make sure they're looked after. So this, again, is occupation. This is work. Read on.
For For 6 days, the Lord made the heaven and the earth.
So let's keep this in mind, man. In the book of Genesis, the Lord made the heaven and the earth, and the Hebrews Alahayim, meaning the angels. They worked for who? The Lord. You know what I mean? They had a boss, and they done his job. They have it. So the same way they work for the Most High, on earth, carnally, you have a boss. And the same way for 6 days, now of course the Bible says, one day to the Lord is as 1,000 years. So meaning for 6,000 plus, meaning a very long time, they work for the Lord. And what? They stopped at one point in time. Likewise on earth, 6 days, you work for an employer and you're going to rest in that same fashion. In that same manner, you're going to rest in the exact same way. Read on.
And all that in them, and rested the 7th day.
And he did what?
Rested the 7th day.
And the angels, and when it says rest, it don't mean like, I was tired. It means stopped, ceased. Because, people love that. So God needed rest. Again, look at words. That's what dictionaries are for. The Bible is an English translation, and it means cease. It means stopped. So God stopped. So likewise, 6 days, you're going to work. And on the 7th day, you're going to stop from your work. You're going to stop from your employment. That's
and it's deep because people think on the Sabbath day, you can't cook eggs and you can't do this. But the angels, they didn't cease from making eggs. They didn't cease from having fun. They ceased from doing orders from their boss. No, you got to cease from doing orders from your boss. Not going to the bar, not watching boxing. You got to cease from. The same thing they ceased from, they had a blueprint. They were taught to make the earth.
There you have it.
And they ceased from doing that. And it's the same way they ceased, you got to cease. And they didn't cease from cleaning the house. They didn't cease from washing off TV. They ceased from working. You got to cease from working.
There you go. If you didn't hear it on the mic, what the officer said is heavy. When the earth was made and they stopped, they didn't stop from doing other things, but that was their job. They stopped from that.
If you read the Bible, the angels visited Adam and so forth, and made Adam alive and gave him laws and so forth. So they didn't cease fully, but they ceased from their job, their employment, making the earth and so forth. They
have it as again on the mic. In the Bible, angels visited men. Angels did all kind of things. So what then? That shows that work. When the Bible's saying that, on the 7th day you rest. That's not the work it's talking about. They worked for the Most High, made the earth, put the atoms together, done whatever it took to make grass, the sea, the ozone layer, and they stopped. But they didn't stop from doing other things. But that work of the earth, the heavens, the stars, and everything else, they stopped from doing that, man. And likewise, we do the same. You work for an employer, but that 7th day, you stop doing that employment. On that 7th day, you stop laying bricks. You stop doing carpentry. You stop being a chef. You stop, you stop being a lorry driver. Whatever the case may be, you don't do it on that day. But does that mean you can't watch Sky Sports? You can't watch BT Sports? You can't watch CSI? You can't watch, some great shows? And it's sad that people read this and it's not saying what they're saying, man.
It's simple. You're saying the same way the angels rested, you rest the same way. So you gotta find out how the angels rested. And these are angels that were giving orders to make the earth, make it good. So they're working hard, hammering chisel, and stop from doing it. Simple as that. We don't really cease from doing that. So likewise, you cease from doing that.
There you go.
You don't cease from making your bed up. You don't cease from TV. You start from doing your orders. That was the orders.
There you go. And and it's sad that people use this to say that you can't make beans and toast and all that. When it's not saying that. How do you read this and get, I can't turn on a light switch, I can't start my car, I can't watch TV? Like, what are we doing? Like, that's not saying that. That's not saying what they think it's saying. It's, And that's why being in the UPK, you have something that no one else has, and it's the Holy Spirit of the Lord, man. And what does the Holy Spirit do? Give you the context of the Bible. Many people like to go, I'm gonna link this with that, and it's all wrong. While as in the UPK, we know what the verse is saying, and that beats any precept they think they have. That beats anything that they think they read and they understand. Any more on that?
Wherefore the Most High blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
And he hallowed it, meaning he separated it, he sanctified it, he made it a separate day from the other 6 days. And that's how we should do it now. Those 6 days, you do your employment, you do your occupation, but that Sabbath day, the Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, you don't work. And that's how you hallow it. That's how you make it a separate day, just by doing that. Give me Deuteronomy 5, I believe. We're going to get into every verse that, everyone's ever used, man. And the sad thing is, it's saying what it's saying. I got it, because one thing you got to understand, every law in the Bible is not no mysterious spookism, angels and demon stuff. We are a nation of people. And what do laws do for a nation of people? Give them law and order. And what's the order? Give your worker a day off. That's the order of that law. That manservant, that maidservant, your son, your daughter, your oxes, your ass, give him some rest. And what did God do? He made a mandatory day of rest. Simple as. There's not no spookism. On the Sabbath day, you do something, you might die. The angels might not watch over you because on the Sabbath, you turned on your TV, you watch BT Sports, God's angry at you. No. It's not saying that, man. It's saying just rest. Don't do no employment, and it's your day off. And that's the law of the Bible. Like many laws in the Bible, there's a practicality. We are a nation, and like any nation, you need rules. You don't have no rules. What's going to happen? You're working for someone, and they're going to oppress you, man.
Come on, like the speed limit, you don't just follow speed limit because it's a speed limit. Following the speed limit has a physical, advantage or
practicality.
If you hit someone, you're like, to live in, it's going. And that's the goal, though, same thing. You don't steal from you because there's money with hard thing. No,
and that's right. And again, that was a good example. It's like in the UK right now, any law that exists, is it because of angels and demons and thunder and lightning? No, there's a practicality. When the speed limit says on this road, there's like flats, houses, there's pedestrians. Why did it say do 30 miles an hour? Is it because some demon might possess you or something? No, it's because at that speed limit, God forbid you hit someone, they may live. While as where there's no pedestrians, what happens? The speed limit goes up 40, 50, 60. And now, does it have anything to do with angels and demons and No, it's a practicality.
I think they've got superstition. That you do stuff for the sake of it. Like you don't walk under that because man says you don't do that. They've got superstition.
That's right. In the Bible, superstition does not exist.
That's right.
Let's make it clear. Superstition ain't in the Bible. Laws are for a practical reason. And the Sabbath day has a practical reason. Ain't no spookism. Ain't no, I didn't keep the Sabbath. The angel that's watching me, he flew away because I watched TV. That's not the Bible, man. Get it one for me. Deuteronomy 5.
17. So Deuteronomy 5 and 12. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it as the Lord thy God commanded thee.
So who's speaking right now? Moses, he's speaking right here. And it's going back to Exodus, what we just read. In the book of Deuteronomy, if I'm correct, Deuteronomy is a Latin word. It means law twice or twice. Deus means like two. And Deuteronomy means like the utterance, something. So meaning what he's saying is being said already. So he's saying it again. So in the book of Deuteronomy, in the Latin, meaning what's here was said already. There's no law in Deuteronomy that was not said in Exodus or in Leviticus or in the book of Numbers. It's a double law, I believe, that's what it means in the Latin, Deus, and Deuteronomy is like a law or something. So yeah, in the Latin it means it's being said again. In the Hebrew, it's the baya, meaning the words or the sayings. So even in the Latin, they knew, well, everything that is in this book is being said already. So it's saying, remember, meaning in what time? Exodus, in what we read when they heard the voice of God and lived, man. So it's saying, remember the Sabbath day and sanctify it. Keep it separate. Read on.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So again, same thing in Exodus. Read on.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox.
So now, make no mistake, it's saying exactly everything that we read in Exodus, but what we're going to find out is in Deuteronomy, it gets more specific. If you didn't believe me in Exodus, you're going to believe me in Deuteronomy. Believe me, what we're going to read next, it speaks for itself, and there's no getting out of this one. There's no, but spiritually, and there's none of that. It's saying, while it's saying, read on.
Nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant.
So now it's elaborating. In Exodus, it stops at that, just done. But in Deuteronomy, Moses is getting more specific. He's enlightening us a little bit more. So thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest. Read.
May rest.
May do what?
May rest.
What did the Bible say?
That thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest.
So it's a rest day from what? Your employment. What's a manservant and employer?
Right.
What's your maidservant and employer?
Right.
And it says the Sabbath day was made so that your manservant and your maidservant may rest as well as you do. So the same way you're resting, that it's a law that people that work for you rest just like you do. You got something?
So that you made it.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah. The one that says that is a requirements and breaks and whatnot.
I got it. So now, again, I mean, elaborate on that. In the Bible, we had 1 day of rest. In the UK, you have how many days? 2 days of rest, man. Or what people commonly call the weekend. Meaning, by law, every worker needs 2 days off. Now, some give you the weekend, some will give you a Wednesday, a Saturday. But even in this society, our employer needs to give his workers days off. And if you don't, it's illegal. You can take them to court. You can fine them. And likewise, in the Bible, an employer had to give his servants a day off. And what was that day off? The Sabbath day. The 1 day that the Lord commanded it in the Bible. And likewise, in every job, you're going to have rest. After 6 hours, by law, you're going to have a mandatory break. No employer can work you longer than 6 hours without a break. Do you know fact? If you are on a job and you do 6 hours and you don't get a break, by law, you can stop. It could be the busiest day. You can go, no, I've worked 6 hours. I'm having a half an hour break. And an employer can't do nothing. Why? Because it's the law. He can hate you. He can't do it. And if he was to take you to court or try write you up, you go, well, no, by law, I work 6 hours. I need a break. And he guess what? He's not going to like you, but there's nothing he can do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then even every 3 hours, you need a 15-minute break. That's law, That's English law. And believe me, I've read it. So now, the same way this society has laws, Israelites had laws too. And what were those laws? 6 days of work. 6 days shall work be done. But the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest. And thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as you do, man. We got laws. Read on. Or matter of fact, if you want to get the history on the weekend, that it was the pagans and the Jews. For time's sake, we're going to read it, but I'll just get it out of the way. The reason why the weekend came about was because the pagans and the Israelites, we both had rest days. Pagans had Sunday. Why? Because they worshiped the sun. And Israelites, Jews, we had the Sabbath day, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. So, we would always debate, battle. So the Roman emperor at that time, I believe it was in the Byzantine Empire, he goes, you know what? To stop this feud, I'll give it the weekend where the pagans and the Christians, aka Jews, you both rest. And that's where the weekend came from. Now, of course, as over time, as industries got big, many industries want you to work on the weekend. So what did the law become? That you need mandatory 2 days off. And now it's scattered. Some people got a Monday off, Wednesday off, but must work the weekends. But originally, it was the weekend where the pagans and the Christians both had a day off. And then over time, over generations, it became the weekend.
The weekend evolved from the religious concept of the Sabbath.
So the weekend evolved over the concept of the Shabbat day, the Sabbath day. So really, that's where it originates from. No other nation, no other empire had a law of rest. Only we did. Research it. Read what they call the Hammurabi Code. Sabbath day ain't in there. Read the Egyptian hieroglyphs. Yes, there's laws or the sayings of Ma'at, and the rest day is not in there. And I've read it. No one can't tell me that it is because I've researched it. No other law, no other empire had a rest day. Read on.
The weekend evolved from the religious concept of the Sabbath, a day devoted to God and not work.
And not what?
Work.
What can I say, man? Even historians know that a Sabbath is work. They know that it's a day that you devote to God and it's not work, meaning you're not slaving away in some McDonald's in the kitchen making Big Macs. You devote it to God. Listen, I'm resting, man. Read some laws, take my kids out. It's a day where, I do what I want to do. Read on.
Come. In Jewish tradition, Sabbath is the sunset of Friday to sunset Saturday.
That's right.
Most Christians eventually adopted Sunday as their rest day.
So most Christians over time adapted Sunday as the rest day. And you can research it. If you research early Christianity, Sunday was not worshipped. But over time with the paganism and, the doctrines in the Bible, Council of Nicaea, in Christianity, Sunday became the day of worship. Any more on that?
Over time, workplaces in Western countries began to accommodate those religion observances.
That's right.
Observances.
So now, over time, the workplace, meaning all throughout ancient history, no workforce cared about a day of rest. But because, Christianity got so big, Jews influenced so many empires that the workplace began to go, you know what? We need to give our workers some rest, man. And is it hard to believe? No, it's not, man. Look at England, Israelites, Jews, who we are, Benjamites. We influence England, man. When you're in London and talking, you don't know because, yes, family, whose influence is that? Israelites' influences. Look at how they dress. Look at how everyone acts. And the same way we influence people by how we talk, how we dress, we influence society, where many empires, they're like, you know what? We need to give our workers some rest, man. Look at them Jews. Look at their workers. They're happy and they're oppressing their workers. And over time, wherever we went, people was like, you know what? We need to give our workers some rest. Read on.
The 2-day weekend evolved alongside campaigns for a shorter working week. Workers in the 18th and 19th century, Britain started to ask for longer breaks from harsh working conditions from industrialization.
Okay, and again, that's work. If you work in the industrialization, that's what you mean, making iron, fabricating brass and them things. And they were like, listen, we need some rest, man. And that's hard work. I've seen metal factories, and although we got machines now, that's hard work, man. And they were like, listen, we need some rest from this. And again, showing you that in the Bible, work is your occupation, it's your employment. And even historians know this is occupation, this is employment. Read on.
As opposed to farming, which more thingy, which
farming. So like, yeah, so even that, to be on a farm, that's your occupation. No one does it for fun. You do it because someone's paying you. Someone who owns masses of land, they're like, listen, I'm paying you to plant them seeds, plow that field. That's the occupation. That is a job right there. Employment, redone. That's pretty much it. No sweat. So that lets you know where the weekend came from. So in Deuteronomy 5 and 17 on down, it's letting you know that the Sabbath is so that workers rest. Not that they can't watch Sky Sports. They can't catch up with shows they missed in the week. They can't cook food. You got people eating cold sandwiches, man. You're abusing yourself when you can make some nice, warm food, man. Where was we in Deuteronomy 5?
5 and 12?
That's right, yeah.
Nah.
I think we... Matter of fact, read verse 15. Because then, if you think I'm lying about the rest and the work, then you got to explain verse 15. Read on.
Verse 15. And remember that thou was a servant in the land of Egypt.
That we was what?
A servant in the land of Egypt.
And as servants, what did we do in Egypt? Work. Made the pyramids. Made great towns for Egypt. That was employment. So the Sabbath and work is clearly talking about employment. In Egypt, what did the Israelites do? Work for Pharaoh, work for the Egyptians. So it's saying it right there.
Deep. People think Sabbath do not watch TV. TVs clearly work. In Egypt, who wasn't famous in Egypt watching TV and shit? It's a work and making work and this and shit that makes you tired and sweat. And that's that's clearly that's what it is.
That's work. And read Exodus. We made brick without straw. So who makes bricks and it's not your employment? Who just randomly makes bricks and you ain't getting paid for that? Or that's not your job? You know what I mean? Who does that? Even in Africa, you know what I mean? You go into sub-Saharan Africa where they're naked. They make bricks and stuff like, why? Because it's their employment. They don't do it for the sake of it, man. And likewise in Egypt, we made brick without straw. Why? Because that was our employment. We were making the pyramids. We were working in what were some towns? Ramses and those towns. And that was what? Employment. So work ain't, taking out the bins, making them a fry up, making some nice scrambled eggs with some beans, putting the onions and the pepper and the vinegar. That's not work, man. And it's sad that people believe that. And where do you learn it from? Jewish people, man. You learn it from fake Israelite groups. And that's not keeping the Sabbath holy. And it does. And guess what? It doesn't make you more righteous neither. Because I know what some of you like think, well, look, man, them I.S.U.P.K guys, they're so bad. I'm righteous. I got my TV turned off. My electric bill's going to stay the same on this day. It doesn't make you better than me. Why? Because I'm doing what the Bible says. I'm not doing my occupation on this day. Read on.
Thou was a servant in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy God brought thee out hence through with a mighty hand, with a stretched out arm. Therefore the Lord thy God commanded thee to keep the Sabbath holy. And that's
self-explanatory. The Lord's saying, I brought you out of bondage, out of employment from the Egyptians. Therefore, I'm commanding you, keep the Sabbath day holy. Meaning, let your workers rest, man. In Egypt, you knew how it was when the Egyptians oppressed you, man. They set taskmasters over you. And you know what a taskmaster does? Give you some task that is impossible. It gives you, a task that you're like, I can't do that. Like, why are you telling me to do all this? Knowing I can't do it. And what's that? Employment. And the Lord saying, likewise, like, be fair with your servants. Give them that rest day, please, man. Let's get another one. Let's get Exodus 34 about make no fire or something like that. And then Numbers with the sticks. about 3. Or
Exodus.
no, 35 and 3. Because that's when there was Exodus 34 is when they was naked and all that. So Exodus 35 is where it speaks to them from correct.
Exodus 35 and 1. And Moses gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together and said unto them, these are the words which the Lord have commanded that ye should do them. 6 days work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be unto you a holy day.
All right, so let's make this understandable right here. When you read Exodus 34, the Israelites sinned. You mean with Moses, he was in the mount getting the laws from God. You mean got the tables of stone to show the Israelites, look, man, remember this. This is carved with the finger of God. And what happened? We just could not wait. He's in the mountain, like, what happened with this guy, man? He's probably dead in the mountain. Some John Crows eating his dead flesh right now, man. You know what I mean? But of course, that was not the case. And what happened with Aaron? They were like, listen, I don't know what's happened with this guy. Make us some idols, man. And we're gonna say, these be the gods that got us out of Egypt. And what happened? We did that, and the Lord spoke unto Moses and said, you know what? You need to get down there. The Israelites which I brought out of the land of Egypt, they've gone backwards. You know what I mean? So we came down, and with Moses, he was angry, threw the stones on the ground. People died for it. So now he's going back up in the mountain. But before he goes back, he's just letting us know, listen, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord. Read on.
But on the 7th day, there shall be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death.
So why is he saying this? Because he knows how hard-headed and rebellious we can be. Which he says in Exodus 34, the Lord goes, I've sinned this people. And what did he say? This is a stiff-necked and rebellious nation of people. So he's letting you know, listen, anyone working on this day, they're going to be put to death. Why? Because someone will go, hey, you know, he's up in the mount. Listen, you get back to work, man. Listen, I'm telling you straight, Bun Moses, I want you to work for me tonight, man. So the Lord's saying, listen, anyone that does that, they're getting put to death. Read on.
Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
All right, so this verse, this gets, you know, damn near everyone. You can't kindle a fire. You can't start your car because the ignition is a fire. You can't turn on your cooker. You can't turn on your stove. You can't use a microwave. You can't use the oven. And here's the problem, man. From what we read before, who does the Sabbath day apply to, man? Let's see who's awake online. Who does it apply to? Like, you read this by itself, it sounds good, but it's not saying what they're saying. I'll give you a minute. Who does this even apply to, first and foremost? But anyone got it, or we'll answer it for time's sake? That's what it is for Israelites, but what kind of Israelites? You know, every law in the Bible is for an Israelite, but remember, work, employment. Who this in Exodus 34 and 3? Who is it talking to? And then the fire part, it would then make sense. I'll give you another minute and then we'll answer it. All right, going once, going twice. That's it. So who does this? What we're reading right here? Who does it apply to?
The employers.
Employers. That's it.
And the employers are the ones that are getting people to fuck like fires.
That's right.
People are getting fucked up today. Like fire back then, a job. People don't make, you know what I mean? Make fires, get sticks, cut down trees. You know what I mean? Yeah. Apparently, you can't light wood on fire. Like cut in like cut long ways inside.
And a split yet. Like, all right. As what the officer said, this about to kindle a fire is talking to an employer. Do you know that to make a fire ain't easy? Now we have like, you mean the stove and things like that. But to make a fire in ancient times, someone was paid to do that. It was someone's employment to make fires. And it's not easy. Believe me, you go and do some camping. To make that fire is difficult, man. You need that rock that's sharp, the flint, a wood, you know what I mean? And you got to cut in half and make some friction out of it. And you can do all that and still not make the fire. You know what I mean? So again, people were employed to make fires, which means don't make no one work on the Sabbath day. No one is meant to be kindling a fire. That's all what it's saying, man. And people think, you can't make a fire, you can't turn on your stove, you can't use your oven, you can't use your microwave, you can't use electric because, the spark is a fire. And it's not saying that, man. People employed people to make fires. And that's what Exodus 35:3 is talking about. And read that one more time.
You shall kindle no fire throughout your habitation upon the Sabbath day.
There, so don't kindle a fire, meaning an employer don't employ no one to make you a fire on the Sabbath day. It's his day off. On that day off, your manservant, your maidservant, they're making no fires. That's the point it's making. Let's get Numbers 15. Numbers 15. All right, picking sticks. 1 second. All right, start from. All right, start from verse 29.
Numbers 15:29. Ye shall have one law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them.
So now let's make it clear. Among all Israel, there was one law, meaning there wasn't different laws that applied to people individually. The Bible is saying that, listen, everyone has one law, whether you're an Israelite, whether you're the stranger, meaning when we're in the land, you're from like the land of Gad, you go to the land of Benjamin, you're a stranger. That same law applies still, man. There's one law. Read on.
God, the same reproach the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
Which verse are you at, sir?
Verse 8.
I can't. I don't. So, but the soul that does all presumptuously. So keep this in mind as we read on down. Someone that does something presumptuously. What is presumptuous? You do what you want to do. You do what you feels right. You know what I mean? So it's saying someone that does something presumptuously. Read on.
But the soul that doeth something presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproach the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people. Because he has despised the word of the Lord, and he hath broken the commandment, that soul shall be utterly cut off.
So now keep this in mind. It's talking about presumptuous sins, meaning you knew it was wrong and you did it anyway. So now this sets the scene for what we're going to read about the Sabbath day, about with this individual right here. Read on.
His iniquity shall be upon him. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks upon the Sabbath.
So now, again, with Christianity on your mind, what goes into mind is picking sticks. It's picking little twigs on the Sabbath. Read on.
And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron.
So now this man, he was arrested. So what goes into people's mind? He was picking sticks, and that was evil, that was wrong. Now, again, we've been through the laws on the Sabbath day, and it's your occupation. So by default, him picking sticks, that was part of his occupation. With those sticks, what could have he done? Made tents, made fires. He could have been gathering up bundles to make fires. You mean no one never thinks of that? You mean when the Christianity is in your mind, what did they think? He picked a stick on the Sabbath and they locked him up. On the Sabbath, you're not meant to do nothing. So like it. Because on the Sabbath, you're not meant to do a thing. And that's not what it's saying. This is occupation. And what did the verse up above say? Someone that does presumptuously, they shall be cut off from among their people. So you know what I mean? What's that saying? He knew it was wrong and he was doing his job anyway. Read on.
And unto all the congregation, and they put him inward. So
they locked him up. They put him inwards. They put him in a cell, in a tent. Read on.
Because it was not declared what should be done unto him.
So now, let's make this clear. It was declared in Exodus. What did it say? Who does work on the Sabbath should be put to death. But what happened? They forgot, man. So now they have him inside like, well, what should we do? But the Lord already told the Israelites what to do. And the Lord's going to explain it again. Read on.
Come, what should be done to him? And the Lord said to Moses, the man shall surely be put to death.
There, and why did the Lord say that? Because he said it already. We read it in Exodus 34 and 3, 35 and 3. Whoever does work on the Sabbath shall be put to death. So it reminds him like, what? Well, you know already. The person that does this, they shall be put to death. So for time's sake, this man died. Why? Because he was doing his job. He was gathering sticks, whether he was making tents, gathering sticks for his fire making. Either way, this was his job. And he done it presumptuously. And that's why he was put to death. All right, let's get Matthew 28 and 19. You know, Jesus allegedly came for everyone. So, Jesus and peace. You know what I mean? And it says someone calls out Judah. But it's one of those fake Israelite groups, man. One of those fake Israelite groups with his white girl. You know what I mean? But let's get into it, man. Come on.
Matthew 28 and 19. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Now, you think Commanding General YAHANNA's never read this before? You think all the heads, you know what I mean, High Priest Bashar, all of them, they never read this before. Now, here's a question for you. Why is it saying go into all nations? Like anything, there's context. There's a reason why things are being said. Like the Sabbath, when it's talking about work, there's a reason why. So what you read in Matthew 28 and 19, there is a reason why. Also, in a PAC, forgive me, Tobit 13 and 3 as well. So we're going to show you why Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all of the Gospels say at the end that same verse or that same phrase.
Come, Acts 2 and 5. And they will dwell at Jerusalem, Jews.
What did the Bible say?
They will dwell at Jerusalem, Jews.
So hang on. Christ told his disciples, go into all nations, preach, heal the sick, raise the dead. And in Acts, it explains why. So in Acts 2 and 5, they were dwelling Jews, read.
Devout men.
Devout men mean devoted men, men that heard about Christ, men that wanted to keep the laws, men that wanted to serve God, devoted Jews, devoted Israelites. Read on.
Out of every nation.
Out of where?
Every nation.
Out of where?
Every nation.
And where do we read that? In Matthew 28 and 19. The disciples went and taught Jews, devout men, out of every nation, man. That's why it's saying it. It ain't teaching Christ came to save everyone. Christ came to save Israelites, man. In the same Bible you think you know, what does Matthew 18 and 11 say? The Son of Man, who is Jesus Christ, came to save that which was lost. So how can Jesus Christ come to save everyone? When was everyone lost? No, there wasn't. The Romans or the white people, for conversation's sake, they knew who they were. All nations, Greeks, what's some other ones? North Africans, South Africans, the Persian Empire, the Saracen Empire, all them people, was they lost? No, there wasn't. But Christ came to save that which was lost. And who was lost? Let's get a precept. Matthew 15 and 24. I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So Christ only came to save Israelites, not all people, man. Which shows one thing: you don't know the Bible. Do you know what you need to do? You need to wear all black, do your 90 days, and come up in the UPK, man. That's what you need to. You got that for me.
Matthew 15, 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent.
So hang on now. This was a non-Israelite woman. When you read up above, she was begging Christ, to heal her son. And Christ said to her, I'm not sent, meaning what? I'm not sent for you, read.
But unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
But unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Christ only came for Israelites. That's why when you read Matthew 28 and 19, if you don't understand it, he's come for Israelites out of every nation, out of every empire. Come for Israelites in England, man.
Right.
Come for Israelites in Jamaica.
Right.
Come for Israelites in Trinidad.
Right.
Come for Israelites in Montserrat, man.
Right.
Come for Israelites in Amsterdam,
Right.
Holland, Rotterdam. And that's what Matthew 28 and 19 is talking about. You got the other one for me, Tobit 13 and 3. Oh, okay, no sweat. Okay, it's not a car ara, it's a car adawam, which means cursed Edom. You mean Adawam is the name for Esau, whose name was later changed to Edom, which is the so-called European of today. So it's a car adawam. You know what I mean? I see you been watching some of the old videos. I pray this devil die and give everything. You know what I mean? That's a famous General Muhammad tape right there, man. That's got a replay value forever, man. You know what I mean? So that's good that you're watching them too, man. You got it for me, Tobit 13 and 3.
Tobit 13 and 3. Confess him before the Gentiles.
What did the Bible say?
Confess him before the Gentiles.
So confess the Lord before the Gentiles. What is another word for Gentiles? Nations. Like in Matthew, go out before every nation. So what's another way of saying that? Confess him before the nations. Read.
Ye children of Israel.
Ye who?
Children of Israel.
So the children of Israel are going to confess God before the nations. Why? Read on.
For he hath scattered us among them.
Because God did what?
Scattered us among them.
Because we are scattered among the nations. That's why we are preaching among the nations. You can't get any clearer than that, man. You can't clear that, man. You know what I mean? Not being funny. You know what I mean? This is not cross the line radio right here, but this is a body bag, man.
That's right.
Judah. You know what I mean? I ain't got a body bag here. I got a black bag here. You know what I mean? Your mic can fit in that, but you've been body bag, man.
That's right.
You've been body bag, man. It's a rap, man. This is Adolf last. That's a body bag, man. You know what I mean? You're done for, man. You're dead out here, man. You know what I mean? I got the fist up. You profess them because we're scattered among the nations. You can't get better than that. You know what I mean? That's easy said. That's the Bible, man. So Judah, you know, you need to be in here, man. Wherever you think you're learning the Bible, you ain't learning the Bible. You're learning Christianity and the Jews are black. That's all you're learning. You know what I mean? So again, you know what I mean? It can't get any more clearer than that one there. All right, then Numbers. Let's get Isaiah 53.
Oh, I don't know the exact name of it.
Yeah. So we read the last verse first just to show what people use. And then we're, you know what I mean? Now, Isaiah, I believe it's 58. Yeah, 58 and 14.
Isaiah 58 and 14. Then thou shalt delight thyself in the Lord.
It's like you start at verse 13.
Verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day.
So now, again, you know, Christians, fake Israelite groups, Judah, you know what I mean? You may read this and go, you know, you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, you done your pleasure, you turned on your TV, you watch your favorite show. You know what I mean? You went and brought your favorite drink, you know what I mean, drink on the Sabbath. You done your pleasure, you turned away your foot, you dishonored God. Reading it, isolating that one verse, it sounds good, but it's not saying that. Let's read on.
And call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord.
So now you call the Sabbath a delight, meaning on the Sabbath day, according to what they say, because this ain't saying this, just to let you know. But they say, you know, you turned away your foot from the Sabbath, you done your delights. You call the Sabbath honorable and pleasurable of the Lord. The Sabbath was your pleasure day. You did what you wanted to do. And again, if you isolate that verse like that, it sounds good. It sounds convincing. In old times, I believed it too, man. But it wasn't saying this. Read on.
And call the Sabbath a delight.
And you call the Sabbath a delight, meaning you did what you wanted to do. You delighted by, you know, watching TV. You went and brought doner meat and kebab on the Sabbath day. You know what I mean? What's some other things? You went to the Olby's Arvery, Toby's Carvery. You know what I mean? What's some other places? You went Nando's on the Sabbath. You know what I mean? What's some other ones? You went Five Ways, which I would never go. But you know what I mean? You made the Sabbath day a delight, man. You're evil. And the Bible saying the Sabbath day can't be your delight. Read on.
And shall honor him, not doing thine own ways.
So hang on now. They say you honor God on the Sabbath by not doing your own ways, meaning you don't do what you want to do. You didn't go buy your doner meat and chips. You didn't go to Toby's Carvery. You didn't go to Nando's. What's some other ones? You didn't go to Correct and Cones. You know what I mean? You didn't go to all them places. And you know what I mean? You dishonored the Sabbath by doing your pleasures, by doing your ways. Read on.
Nor finding thine own pleasure.
Nor your pleasure. You can't turn on the TV. You can't drive your car. You can't go on Facebook on the Sabbath. That's your pleasure. Now, again, not understanding this verse, it sounds good. I'm not going to lie to you. It sounds good, but it's not saying this, man. It sounds convincing, but it's not saying what they think it's saying. Read on.
Nor speaking thine own words.
So, no speaking thy own words. So, meaning on a Sabbath day, you can't speak your own words. You can't talk about, you know what I mean, like people that watch WWE. You can't talk about The Rock making his return. You know what I mean? You're speaking your own words. You can't talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin being one of your favorite wrestlers. That's speaking your own words. You can't talk about, you know, what happened in the week. That's you speaking your own words. And again, like what we said at the beginning of class, there's no superstition in the Bible, man. And reading it and breaking it down how they do, that's very superstitious, man. That sounds very, what's that show? The Goosebumps. You know what I mean? That sounds very Friday the 13th, Michael Myers, man. But what is this really saying? Again, in the UPK, we have something no one never has, and it's called context. Start from verse 1, Baba Kushar.
God, cry aloud, fear not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression.
Show them what?
Their transgression.
So what's the transgression? A violation. And what are Israelites violating? The law of God. So verse 1 already should let you know that Israelites are doing something wrong, and Isaiah, he's going to cry aloud, spare not, and show Israel what they are doing. Show them they're doing something wrong. Read on.
And show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins, that ye may seek me daily.
So now it's saying we are a nation of people, we sin, yet we seek God daily. And is that black people? Yes, it is. We are a nation of people, although we are in error, we seek God daily. Although we're in the mosque, we seek God daily, man. Although we're in the church, we seek God daily. Although you talk nonsense about Horus and Seth and Africa and all that stuff, Rasta, you seek God daily, man. Even though you're transgressing. Read on.
God, and delight to know my ways as a nation.
And is that black people? God. We delight to know God's ways, man. We want to know, but here's the problem. We ain't been taught correctly.
Right.
But you're in the mosque. You delight to know God, but you don't know how to serve God, man. When you're in the church, you delight in God, but you don't know how to serve him, man. When you talk about Rastafari and all that, you delight to know God, but you don't know how to do it, man. And the same way we were back then, we like it now, man. Never, ever let no one tell you the Bible ain't a living book. Never let no one tell you reincarnation is not real, man.
Right.
How do you know? Because the same people that were sinning, they delighted to know God. They saw him daily, but still they were transgressing. Isn't that us now? Isn't that black people in 2019? Reincarnation is real, man. The Bible being a living book is real. And the same way Israelites done it then, they're doing it now. Do you want to know why? Because we're them same people in the time of Isaiah who delighted to know God, but didn't know how to serve him. Read on.
God, as a nation that did righteousness and forsook not the ordinance of their God.
So now, no, you know, sweat. You need some time to sort that. Yeah, no sweat. Yeah, Kanye. Just give him a. Just keep them up to speed. No sweat. Bear with us 1 second. No sweat. I'll get on my phone. 1 second. All right, we're back up. I know. So yeah. So you know, it said we delight to know his ways, man, and that's black people right there, man. No other nation delights to knowing God. Do you want to know why they believe in God? Because they was just taught it. But do they really delight in God? Do they want to serve God? Not really. Like, you got many nations out there, and do they really believe in what they say? No, they don't, man. Look at the mosque. All the Muslims drink alcohol, man. I thought in the Quran it's forbidden to drink alcohol, and they drink it excessively, man. Even at the shop, they sell it to other people that follow Islam. I thought you're meant to uphold righteousness. You're meant to go, nah, according to, you know, our beliefs, you can't. And all of them drink it, man. You buy the alcohol and the cups, you know what I mean, so you can drink it, you know what I mean, somewhere where no one can't see you. Whilst black people, we delight in God, man. We delight to know his ways, just that we're in religion. That's the problem. Read from that part again, sorry.
Say it again.
You can't hear.
Come on. Yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways as a nation that is righteousness.
And there, man, we act like we just righteous, man. In the church, how are we, man? I'm a child of God. You can't come against me. God rebuke you. Meanwhile, you're transgressing. And that's us. We act like we're people that have never ever transgressed. Even though we're in a religion that makes us transgress the Lord. And that's why, reincarnation is real, man. The same people that thought they're holier than thou, they're back here again, man. The same people that Isaiah is talking about, they're back here in the church. We're now in the mosque with our beards red, thinking we're better than everybody. It's real, man. Read on.
And forsook not the ordinance of their God.
And how we acted like we haven't forsook God. We are like, nah, I'm serving God, and we are not. Read on.
God, they ask of me the ordinance of justice.
What did they do?
They ask of me the ordinance of justice.
And now, what does that let you know? Not trying to divert. If you want to learn about God, you gotta ask a man. So, what did the verse say? They ask of me the ordinances. Meanwhile, up above it said, they delight to know God. They delight to know God. They ask of me the ordinance of justice. Meaning, if you want to learn about God, you gotta go to a man. But that's for another class, for another time. All right, no sweat. All right, let's get to verse 3 just to break down Isaiah 58.
Verse 3. Wherefore have we fasted, say they, and thou seest not?
So now they're saying, what's wrong, man? I'm serving God, I'm fasting, and God don't see it, man. God don't acknowledge this fast that I'm taking. Read on.
Come. And thou seest not? Wherefore have we afflicted our soul, and thou takest no knowledge? Behold, in the day of your fast, ye find pleasure and exact all your labor.
Also, keep that in mind. In Isaiah 58 and 13, what word was there? Pleasure. Now, in verse 3, the people that are fasting and God's not listening, it says, in your fast, you find pleasure. Keep that in mind. And you what? Exact all your labors. Now, look at that word labor. It's your laborers, your workers. And what does exact mean? Oppress. I'm not making it up. Look it up in the Hebrew. So I'll translate it for you in another way. In your fast, you find your pleasure and you oppress your workers. That's what that is saying. Read on.
God, behold, ye fast and strife and debate.
Okay, no sweat. So let's get back to verse 13. You know what I mean? So that'll set the scene back in verse 13.
Verse 13, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure.
So hang on now. What's the pleasure? In verse 3, we read their pleasure and exacting their labors. So in verse 13, what's the pleasure that they did, which made them turn their foot away on the Sabbath? If you could, for the brother Bob Mad, where are you from? Are you in the UK? You in America? Where you at? Oh, you're in Rotterdam. Okay, yeah, we got the contact number, for the UK, Rotterdam on plane is about an hour flight and that. You know what I mean? So definitely, man, if you're looking to come up in the school, get in contact with a brother from Curacao. That's near South America. It's a small island. I'm familiar with Curacao. If you could just put your number in. I'm talking to the officer, you know what I mean? Or vice versa. Do definitely keep in contact, brother. You know what I mean? So yeah, in Isaiah 58 and 13, we're going to break that down. Yeah, can't yet.
If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, and thou shalt honor him, not doing thy own ways.
Not doing thine own ways. So how do you turn away your foot from the Sabbath and do your own ways? According to what we just read in the context of Isaiah 58.
You go to your own ways because the Lord said make them rest. You'll say no.
That's right.
That's your own ways.
That's right. Your own ways is oppressing your worker, like what we read in Isaiah 58 and 3, exacting the laborers, oppressing your workers. So that's your own ways. That's your pleasure right there. So Isaiah 58 and 3 ain't talking about you on your day off from work. He was addressing Israelites that were oppressing their workforce. So what? So for someone to read this and go, do your own ways, your own pleasures, you know what I mean? What does that mean? Like, you know what I mean? That's not saying what you think it means, man. All right, you want me to do a body bag part 2? All right, what's this now? Breakdown 72 and 18. So wouldn't Psalms 83 be void? All right, let's get Psalm 72 and 18.
Psalms 72 and 18.
All right. I should have a black bag with me just right by my left-hand side, But yeah, let's grab it.
The 18.
Yeah, 18 to 20. So
blessed be the Lord God of Israel.
Yeah. So already that sets the scene. The God of the Bible, the same Bible you're reading that you want to hear Psalms 72 and 18. Blessed be the God of Israel. Who are the Israelites today? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Read on.
Who only doeth wondrous things.
So God does wondrous things. Read on.
And blessed be his glorious name forever. And let the whole earth be filled with his glory.
So, okay, let the whole earth be filled with his glory. What does the word glory even mean? Goodness. And how is the whole earth filled with the glory of God? Why? Because first off, we're going to rule it. And if you think I'm twisting this, we can start from verse 9. Matter of fact, you can start from verse 3. And it lets you know that the earth's going to be filled with glory when the Israelites rule it. So you can jump to verse 18, but wouldn't you start from verse 1? Wouldn't you start from verse 3, where it's making our points that nations are going to be under us? And when we rule, when the God of Israel and his people rule, the whole earth is going to be filled with his glory. You know what I mean? Let's start from should probably start from verse 1.
Psalm 72 and 1. Give the king thy judgment, O God, and thy righteousness unto the king's son.
So now, what's he talking about, man? Of course, Psalms is written by King David right here. And King David, what was he? He was a prophet of God. And what does a prophet of God do? Talk about future events. Otherwise, you ain't no prophet of God. You got something?
Revelation 5 and 10 as well.
Yeah, let's grab that. We're going to get back to this, Judah. We're not ducking you. Let's get Revelations 5 and 10 as well.
Revelation 5 and 10. And has made unto us kings and priests.
So hang on now. The Israelites are going to be kings and priests. Read.
And we shall reign on the earth.
And where are the Israelites going to rule?
Reign on the earth.
There you go. So we're going to reign on the earth. And Psalm 72 is making my point. It's making the I.S.U.P.K's point. It's not making yours. Start from verse 1 again.
Give the king judgment, O God, and thy righteousness unto the king's son. He shall judge thy people with righteousness, and thy poor with judgment. The mountains shall bring peace to the people, and the little hills by righteousness.
So now, what do the hills represent in the other nations? So that's letting you know already, when the king of Israel rules, he's going to judge everyone, and then we're going to judge every other nation. In Isaiah 2, what did it say? Every nation is going to come and seek the God of Israel, and we're going to rebuke many nations. You got why? Every nation is going to be forced to follow the laws of God, like what we're reading right here. Read on.
He shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy.
He's going to save who?
The children of the needy.
And who are the children of the needy? The Israelites, man. In these last days, who are the needy? We are, man. We need benefits. We need job seekers allowance, income tax. We need damn near everything. And Christ is going to save the children of the needy. He's the king that King David is talking about in verse 1, man. Read on.
And shall break in pieces the oppressor.
He's going to do what?
Break in pieces the oppressor.
Also, how does this make Psalms 83 void? When Christ is going to break in pieces the oppressor, man. Who's the oppressor? The Europeans, the Arabs, everyone that benefits of the oppression of black people, which makes them oppressors. Read on.
They shall fear thee as long as the sun and the moon endure throughout all nations.
So while Christ is ruling, every nation is going to be afraid of him. While he's on this earth and the Israelites are ruling under Christ, all these nations are going to be petrified. He's saying it. So verse 18 ain't talking about God loving everyone. Read on.
He shall come down like rain upon the mown grass, as showers that water the earth. So
I mean, he's going to bless the needy. He's going to bless those that are oppressed, man. Why? Because we're going to be rich. In Isaiah, what does it say? Thy gates shall be open all day, man, and your gates shall not be shut. We're going to be that blessed nation when he makes his second return. Read on.
God. In his days shall the righteous flourish, and abundance of peace as long as the moon endureth. So
when we rule under Christ, the earth's going to be at peace, man. No more war, like what it says in Isaiah. Read on.
He shall have dominion also from sea to sea.
He's going to do what?
Have dominion also from sea to sea.
So he's going to rule. Christ is going to rule, man. So how is this loving everybody? When to have dominion means you rule over people. It's not free will and everyone does what they want. Christ sets up the Israelites, and guess what? Christ has the dominion and we have it too under him. And we're going to rule from sea to sea. Read on.
God, from river unto the ends of the earth, they that dwell in the wilderness shall bow before him. His enemies shall lick the dust.
What did the Bible say?
His enemies shall lick the dust.
So how is Christ loving everyone when his enemies are going to lick the dust off his boots, man, when he returns? So 18, yeah, the earth's going to be in peace. Why? Because we're ruling under Christ. So the earth's going to know his name and the glory. So that doesn't make your point. That makes our points. That makes Commanding General YAHANNA's point, man. Right. Do you know what I mean? So again, Judah, body bag part 2, man. You know what I mean? Read on.
The king of Tarshish and the isle shall bring presents.
So now, what's another word for that? It's called tribute. When someone rules over you, you give them gifts. You are tributary unto them, meaning they're like, yes, master, here's your gold. Don't kill me. So what are you talking about, Judah? You don't know the Bible, man. Matthew 28:19, Psalms 78. You really need to wear your all black, man. You know what I mean? I want to see with that war scarf on, boots, and those combats, man. And you know what I mean? We'll take it from there. But you know what I mean? You're not really qualified to ask any more questions, man. But yeah, let's read off the rest of Psalms, just since we're here.
Shall offer, and the queen of Sheba, and the king of Sheba, and Sabbath shall offer gifts.
There, so meaning every nation's gonna be tributaries. So verse 18 lets you know, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, who does wondrous things. Hang on, what's the wonderful things? So hang on, you jumped to verse 18 and you didn't even know what the wondrous things even were. What are the wondrous things? Would anyone online like to answer that? What are the wondrous things? Imagine that someone pulls verse 18 and doesn't even know what the wondrous things even are, man. According to what we read from Psalm 78, 1 on down, what are the wondrous things? All right, for time's sake, what are the wondrous things?
Getting black people from under the foot of the oppressor, so they can destroy the oppressor, and put the people that's under the oppressor on top of him.
There you go. If you never heard it, what are the wondrous things to get the oppressor off of our neck and make us rule over them under Christ? Make him give us gifts. That's the wonderful thing. That's what it says. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, who doeth wondrous things, meaning to make us rule when we were oppressed. That's a wondrous thing. It's saying it right there, man. And blessed be his glorious name forever, and let the whole earth be filled with his glory. Why? Because we're ruling like, wow, like bless the whole earth that the people that were oppressed, they are ruling now, man. So I don't see your point in Psalms 72 and 18. Beats me. So Psalms 83 is not void as well. So you know what I mean? You got to come better than that. All right, let's get some more Sabbath ones. For time's sake, let's get the Matthew one about the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. And then we should be good with that.
Mark 2:27.
You can get that one yet?
The whole context was this.
Nah, just a punchline for time's sake.
Mark 2:27, and he said unto them.
Matter of fact, we're not going to get, all right. In your own time, in the book of Mark, the Pharisees and other Jew sects that had, different beliefs in that, they saw Christ and his disciples on the Sabbath day. They were like gathering up on, and they were like, that's unlawful. Why? Because they didn't understand the Bible. So again, with Christ, he caught them with their own understanding first, talking about King David and the bread, saying that, well, really, no one that's not a priest, they shouldn't have the bread. But why did they do it? Because they're dying, they're hungry. So in their understanding, it's like, well, hang on, that's unlawful to do. So if you're questioning me about picking corn on the Sabbath, according to your own understanding, what King David done, that was wrong as well in it. And the scribes and Sadducees like, they can't answer it. You know what I mean? Why he was dying? It's common sense. Yes, the bread is for the priest, but common sense. If someone's hungry, ain't you going to give them some bread? You know what I mean? The law ain't meant to make people die. The law in the Bible says what? The law gives life. You know what I mean? So you're telling in the Bible, there's a law. It says, well, you gotta die. This bread is for the Levites only, and you're there hungry, rib showing like, well, you know, this is the bread for the priest. No, what to say, Salakia? No, it was hungry, and you ate. Yes, it's for me, but you know what? Come on, we're not gonna make this man die. So with Christ, he cut them in their own understanding. Then it went into another one, another example. Then we get into what we're reading now.
Verse 27. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man.
So make this clear. The Sabbath is made for man, meaning the rest day, the Sabbath day, is made for you, man. It's made for you to rest on, not work. It's made for you to watch Sky Sports. You to make, you mean eggs, baked beans, plantain. It's made for you to do that, man. It's made for you to make fried dumplings, man. It ain't, you mean, it's a day that serves you. You don't serve the day, man. Read on.
Not man for the Sabbath.
Not man for the Sabbath. And what you see going on with Christians and fake Israelite groups, they serve the Sabbath day. It's the Sabbath. Turn off the lights. Turn off the TV. You serve the day when the day is meant to serve you, man. And that's the problem. So with that, before we close out, has anybody got any questions online? What's the question? Yes, you can cook. If cooking ain't your job and you ain't getting paid for it, then yes, you can make whatever you want, man. Rice and salmon, rice. You know what I mean? Basically, whatever you like, from as long as it's not pig and things that are unlawful. You shouldn't make those at all any day. But yes, on the Sabbath, you can cook. You probably missed it. We broke down about the fire in Exodus. Again, it was people's jobs to make fires, manservants, maid servants. It was their occupation to make fires. So no, it's not talking about you can't literally make a fire. It's not your job to make a fire. It's not your job to turn on a light switch. It's not your job to turn on your electric stove or your gas stove or your oven. You know what I mean? So that's not your job. So anything else before we close out? All right, and with that, we're going to get to the announcements and the prayer as well. Nothing I see, you know. You? Nah, nothing.
With the I.S.U.P.K started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in the Hebrew Ma'ashara, 10% of any increase of every penny the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or the teacher. Priest fund, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations is Hanukkah, December 20th, and also the lecture, November.
I'll get it for you. November the 30th.
November the 30th. Also, make sure you're there. I.S.U.P.K 394 Large Road, B18 5PW, man. Or accurate aircraft, check the bulletin board in the hallway and check all I.S.U.P.K social media. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and head stuff. We got a margin.
One. Yeah.
From Khan. And the Lord's Prayer, Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwavka.
Malakwavka.
Taba'ah.
Taba'ah.
Ratazaka.
Ratazaka.
Hayah.
Hayah.
I.S.H.A.P.K.
I.S.U.P.K.
Ba'arataza.
Ba'arataza.
Kawok.
Kawok.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Ba'ashemayim.
Ba'ashemayim.
Nafananawa.
Nafananawa.
Nakam.
Nakam.
Cow.
Cow.
Yuwam.
Yuwam.
Wasalaknawa.
Wasalaknawa.
Kabawafnawa.
Kabawafnawa.
Kasalaknawa.
Kasalaknawa.
Kabawafinawa.
Kabawafinawa.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Tabaya'aynawa.
Tabaya'aynawa.
Banasaya one.
Banasaya one.
Abor.
Abor.
Hawashaynawa.
Hawashaynawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Right.
Right.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamalaka.
Hamalakwa.
Waha'ala.
Waha'ala.
Wahafapara.
Wahafapara.
La'aywalamyam.
La'aywalamyam.
Amen.
And in the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
In earth, as it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not.
And lead us not.
Into temptation.
Into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it. With that, I'm going to give one case to the teacher. Beneficial. I manage Shabbat. I manage. Ra. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Ya Jamata. A class dismissed.